NACCA started off being the national spokesperson for the AFIs across Canada, and they, through development, became program administrators for the programs that the AFIs administer.
With a $356 million capital fund, and the AFIs 50 plus have turned that into $2.3 million in loans to the community. That is translated into 3.34 employees per business loan provided. And every year they're providing just under 1,500 loans to the community, valuing more than $110 million a year. Now, if you take that and you translate it as an investment, it adds $400 million to the Canadian GDP every single year with that initial investment.
As First Nations businesses start thinking about, and our young First Nations entrepreneurs start thinking about getting into a business, lack of access to capital is one of the biggest barriers. So we need to start supporting institutions that will help remove those barriers.
There's very little loan loss. They're slowly developing a financial expertise that they can put into business, and we find that it's really successful in developing our Native communities.
It's a process. You plant the seed, you work with the entrepreneur to develop the capacity, develop the business idea, and then allow them to raise some equity so that they can go after their dreams, because everybody in the community is looking for an opportunity to get out of social assistance, to get out of not having a plan, and they see entrepreneurship as a real opportunity to do something with their lives. And these people just need a little bit of help with their capacity, the equity, access to finance, and they're gonna soar.
If you want economic certainty in every province, every territory, when developments are being looked at in our ancestral lands, before you build anything, build a respectful relationship with Indigenous peoples. And start looking at the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples as a guide work and a blueprint for reconciliation and creating economic stability. Because you're going to get our people involved from start to finish, early on in the game, not later on.
And housing is a big thing. If they were able to build equity in a house, they would be able to finance a business. Also things like, making sure education. If people become educated, then they get higher paying jobs. As a result, they have the equity to invest in business.
So you got to start thinking about economic reconciliation. Once you start creating job opportunities and employment opportunities and wealth creation through different businesses and getting us involved, it's really good for Canada. You're lowering the high social costs that exist and that are maintained there. And so economic reconciliation is really a term that people should get their heads around, because there's a gap in terms of quality of life in Canada. Maintaining the status quo doesn't work. And so you need investments in housing and water and infrastructure and good education for the fastest growing segment of Canada's population.
Well, one of the issues that we're faced right now is a very rapidly growing Aboriginal population. But no money has been put into this for a long time, over a decade now. We're concerned that the money is going to be depleted and we're not going to be able to lend as much money and inevitably no more money to Aboriginal entrepreneurs.
The AFI network requires capital in order to provide loans, and we're right now looking for additional capital so that we can continue doing the good work that we've done.
We've done some studies on what we're needing to just sustain what we have and what's it going to take to get it to where we need it to go. With the growing population, the growing demand, there's less to go around for more people. So we've estimated that in the neighborhood of $50-80 million would be the amount to get us just to the place to make sure we're able to maintain moving forward in the next decade or so.